What if you could build a business that gives you the life of freedom you deserve? What if you could find the secrets to marketing, leadership, customer service, and other aspects of business that help you exceed your goals? What if you could walk away from your business for 30 days and it never misses a beat? That's what this podcast is for, to help business leaders like you find freedom from the day-to-day grind and start spending your time doing the things you love. I'm Levi McClendon, and my co-host is Josh Taylor, and this is the Cheers to Freedom podcast.
Hey, welcome to the Cheers to Freedom podcast. I am Josh Taylor, and I am with Levi McClendon. Levi, I have a question for you. What is the best way for a car wash business? What is the best thing they can do in a down market or a recession, whatever you want to call what we're heading in?
Man, you are getting right to it, aren't you? There's not even introductions there.
I'm doing no introductions.
Josh. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, but I want to know the answer to this question.
Yeah, we're getting down and dirty right now because we are facing a recession. We're facing difficult times. We've been here before, right? This isn't anything new. Study history and it does this. So you got to be prepared for it. And so, Josh, the number one thing that you can do, I think, during this time is build your list, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of our customers that are listening are already building lists, which is awesome. It's not too late to start building a list. But I'm telling you, man, being able to have a list and communicate with your customers and or prospects is, in my opinion, number one.
Yeah. Well, and 2 years ago, hopefully a lot of people have learned the lesson over the last couple of years. 2 years ago, we went into this pandemic and, a lot of people realized I have no way to communicate with my customers. And so they started building their list. And we thought by now we would be heading up, we would be going back to what it used to be. And it's not. And it doesn't look super great for the next year, maybe. And hopefully things will pick back up soon. And I expect they will. But hopefully we have learned our lesson. And, and over the last 2 years, if we could look at it and say, what has been the most helpful thing in growing a business during a pandemic, which, in my lifetime, I've never experienced, it's been to build your list. So you've had some, you and I were discussing earlier before we jumped on this, and you've had some thoughts and epiphanies and these things because you were just in Costa Rica, which is a great place to think. And I know that, you tend to go on these trips and you're like me, you go there and all you do is think about work and your customers and how you can, take things to the next level. And so you had a few epiphanies on this trip and really related to what we're trying to do here with our listeners and with our customers.
Yeah, Josh, I'll get to that in just a second. I did want to comment, though, on this pandemic. I think that during that time, we really grew as a business because you're exactly right. A lot of customers saw the kink in their armor, right? They weren't able to communicate. What are you going to post on Facebook and tell people whether you're open, closed, whatever? They tried. They didn't have enough followers, and that's really not what that's for. So a lot of customers of ours that had lists were really able to communicate and engage with their customers and let them know what was going on. But during this time, having that list is going to obviously enable you to engage with people, get them to come back in, tell them what offers you're doing, because as you're going to start seeing fall off, it's inevitable. When you're paying over $5 a gallon for gas, I'm telling you right now, people are going to churn out. There's a reason.
Right. They'll
be back. But make sure right now that you have them in your list so that you can get them back to come see you and not your competition. So that is super important. So yeah, to touch base on, we were just in Costa Rica. And what's funny, Josh, is a year ago in Costa Rica, Jeremy and I were there on a vacation. And you're right. I don't really just go on vacation and disconnect, except for if I'm sailing. That's my only trips really a year that I really tried to disconnect. But ultimately when I'm there, I'm reading books, working. My wife will tell you I worked way too much, which is fine because it was a working vacation. It really was. And so I was able to work quite a bit while I was there, but I was also able to take some downtime and I was reading a lot and really trying to, think about this recession and my customers. I literally eat, breathe, sleep this stuff every day. And so it's like, what's next? What's new? And so we had booked this. I just want to tell this story. We'd booked this fishing trip. And we had about, I think there was 9 of us on this trip, all from our own group. And we're going out to catch big fish. I've never caught big fish, like sailfish and Dorado and yellowtail. And so I was like pretty excited for it. but it was a rough day. So as we're heading out, I mean, the seas were like this. I mean, it was a rough day. It was raining in the beginning, and it was not very fun, right? So a lot of the guys are just, one guy got sick. He had the worst time ever. And I actually was reading the whole time. So reading this Dan Kennedy book, and it was just so impactful while I was like out on this boat and going through the rough waters. And we went about an hour and a half just to get where we needed to be to catch the fish that we were fishing for. And so I started thinking about this, Josh, and I think about our customers, and I think about how the analogy of fishing, right, for fish is no different than fishing for members, right? It's all the same, and it's not always easy. And I just, as I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, you know what? We just went an hour and a half in rough seas. People are sick. And then as we were fishing, once we got there, it took, I mean, we were trolling around for probably over an hour, 2 hours, really. And the guys were getting tired and sleeping. I think you're going to show some video of this, but it was hilarious. So I'm just videoing the guys that are just passed out, and they're just like done, because it's not easy, right? It's tiring. And I started thinking about that. Sometimes work, man, you got to show up. You got to get to where the people are. You got to get to where the fish are. And sometimes that's not easy. And it's tiring and it's hard. But, and also, Josh, you got to check this out. And I'm just going down this path here, but it was so cool. The fishing rig had the most incredible, rigs, the outriggers. They had like 8 or 9 lines in, and they weren't all just bait, right? They had some things that were attracting the fish. And then, of course, based off the fish that we were going for, they had the bait for that fish, right? And so I started kind of relating this, and I was thinking in my mind, like, this is marketing. Like, so many of our customers are just not even marketing, but those that are and trying to build these lists and stuff are just throwing out any type of bait, right? So and I was thinking, like, we are like so specific on trying to catch these fish. It's not easy. We're putting in the work. We're testing. So they're putting in different baits, right? They're going to work for those different fish, and they had the right tools and mechanisms to do it. But it took effort. It took time. Guys were tired. Guys were throwing up. And overall, Josh, what happened? What do you think happened?
You caught some fish.
We caught some fish. We caught huge sailfish, 95-pound sailfish. We caught Dorado. But it took time. And what happened too, and I was thinking about this, when we'd catch one fish, right, the captain would turn us around and drag back through that same area. Why? Because that's where the fish are that we're trying to catch. And so as I started thinking about this, I thought, gosh, this so relates to marketing, right? To even having who your target market is. Who is your avatar? Who are the people that you want coming to your wash so that you know that they're going to convert? So that is so important. But I just really, and I wanted to share that with you. And it's, I was just kind of telling you about kind of that epiphany even. And I don't even know that that's even epiphany as much as it is just my encouragement to our customers and to those listening is put in the work, put in the time. It might be tiring. It's going to be difficult, but you need to test. You need to put the right bait out there to land the right fish. And if you spend the time and the effort and use the right tools, which of course we can provide for you, you're going to catch some fish and you're going to make it through this recession.
Yeah. Well, first off, I think that I probably need to experience that firsthand to really get it next time.
To really understand what that like.
Yeah, to really understand what this is all about. But a couple of things that you hit on. One, those guys that took you out there, they've been doing this. They've been testing. They, for the most part, knew what to do. Imagine if they had never done this before, how you probably wouldn't have caught anything at first because nobody had been out there. But because they've tested, because they knew what they were fishing for, what those fish wanted, you were a lot more successful in catching those fish. So you guys had a great experience. You guys had a great day because you were bringing in those fish. And that's what we're helping our customers do is we're figuring out, okay, what bait works? Where are your customers? Who are your customers? What are you fishing for? And that makes a whole lot of sense. The other thing is you kind of opened up with this of, at the beginning of the pandemic, people were using social media to kind of try to communicate with their customers. Well, if we've seen anything over the last 3 or 4 years, it's how unreliable social media is. One, they change the algorithms up all the time, so it's hard to keep up with and figure out what's going to work, what's not. Do I post a link? Do I not post a link? Do I do hashtags? Do I not do hashtags? Can I do video? Can I not do video? The algorithms change all the time. And when you use social media as your main primary target, you're renting that space. You're basically at the mercy of Mark Zuckerberg and whatever he decides to do that day.
Right.
And when you have a list, you own that
You
list.
own it.
It becomes your most valuable marketing asset, and you can communicate with that list however you want to, whenever you want to. And as long as you have that list, you have something you own.
Well, it's yours, and you're able to communicate. I think you bring up, I'm going to back up to your point you made about the guide, right? We hired a guide. We hired fishing guides. I could have spent a week out there and never caught those fish, and how much time and effort and money I would have done that. And so it comes back to what we've preached this whole time is story brand, right? Your customer is the hero. You are the guide, right? Just like we are the guide to our customers who are the hero. And Josh, back before I moved here to Florida, my dad was an outfitter, a big game outfitter for years in Arizona. We guide elk, world-class, world record elk and deer, mule deer. And so I grew up doing that. And it's the exact same thing. People paid us and paid, my dad a ton of money, because we scouted, we did the work, we would put it out there, and we are the guide, and we'd make them the hero. And we were the heroes. Like, we were out on that boat, man, we were the heroes. And that is so, so true. And that's the same thing for us. Like, we're the guides that we can help you get to, we talk about the 5 funnels, right? The 5 funnels to freedom. Right. And I want to touch on those real quick, because 3 of those funnels, right, are where we're fishing in the right areas. On your site, everything that you're doing on site, make sure that you have those signs up and people are opting in to get into that list, so that you're nurturing that list and you're able to re-engage. Your offsite marketing, everything that you're doing offsite to bring in new people, and then that online. And you touched on Facebook, and Facebook is what it is. We all know what it is. Likes and follows aren't making you money. I'm just telling you that right now. Right. But what's making you money is when you market correctly and you do direct response Facebook marketing, and you're getting people to come into your list to that funnel, and you're tracking that. That's bringing the right fish into your funnel, so that you're able to convert those people. So yeah, great point on that. And the fact that you get to own that data no matter what is huge. Yeah. So
yeah, your job at the end of the day is to help your customer win. What does a win look like for your customers? And you play that role, just like we do for our customers. We help them win. And we've been doing this. So we were talking earlier. We have 5.4 million people of all the databases put together. We have, like 1.5 million members that we've helped all of our customers get. We have over 1,000 locations that we're working with. So we know how to build a list for our customers, because we've been doing it for a while. We've been doing it for a lot of places all over the country. So that's really what it comes down to, is making sure you build your list, but you do it the correct way, and you have a list that you own, and then you communicate in a way that makes the people on the list want to purchase from you.
Absolutely. Well, good.
And that's how you grow a business during a recession.
Yep. And hey, you have that list. I think during that pandemic, a lot of people did make that decision to grow their list. And I promise you, it's going to pay off during recession. It absolutely will. And I was just talking to Jeremy yesterday. Just in the last 30 days, over 4 million messages have gone out to customers, prospects of our car washes. Such huge, big numbers. Engagement is big, and being able to be in your customers' pockets. You be in their pockets. It's a walking billboard. Man, if you're not, your competition is, right? So build your list, keep your people coming back. So yeah, good topic today, Josh. It was a good fishing trip. I recommend anyone going to Costa Rica apparently it's one of the biggest fishing areas in the world, one of the most successful, and it's pretty amazing. So it was really cool catching. Never done that before. So we caught some really big fish and had a really good time. So anyway, we'll wrap it up.
I can't wait to experience that. Sounds like fun.
For sure. So, all right. Well, make sure.
All right.
Let's real quick call to action, so that people who first time listeners, make sure that you don't miss an episode or anything that we have to offer. You want to text the word cheers to 411-365. So start a new text to 411. That's information, right? 411 365 days a year. No, we're not going to text you every day in a year. But then in the body of the text, just type in cheers, hit submit. You'll be on our list. We appreciate it.
Yep. And then subscribe if you're listening on YouTube or listening on the on podcast. You can subscribe so that you never miss an episode and you get to be the first one to listen to it.
Yeah, and share it. We appreciate it.
And share it. Yes, share it with people. Share it on Talk Car Wash.
Absolutely. We appreciate it.
All right, Levi. Until next time.
All right, buddy. Cheers.
Cheers.